two competitors from Europe. If you're from wherever, you are well and familiar with both of these players. We've got Chriso Amanatidis up against Michael Pramawat, two incredible names in the game.
Yeah, so Chriso, one of Germany's most well-known players, national champion all the way back in 2016 with, we were just talking about before we started, with that's, of course, Aquabox deck that's used Cyber EX and a bunch of other water attackers with Max Elixir. And Michael's already mentioned the first international champion ever, winning the first ever European internationals all the way back in 2016.
The TCG 7 God. He's won 7 regional championships. We've also seen him do extremely well at the World Championships, has a second place and top 4 finish there, as well as international championships. So no matter what you name it, I'm sure League Cups too he's won. He has done great at every stage, and it is going to be, I love this deck. I've been hyping this deck up. We get to see Dialga V-Star on the stream. Let's go, Freya.
Yeah, that's it. I heard murmurs about this deck going to this tournament. I didn't know if there's someone, if it was, the murmurs were true or whether it was just murmurs, but it looks like Chriso is here playing it and it's currently testing it 3-0, so it's got to be something.
Looking at these prize cards, just a few metal energy prize. That's really not what you ever want to see, but I mean, you play tons of them, right?
You play 16.
I mean, I've seen some decks play up to like 20 metal energies, yeah. So maybe Chriso has maybe refined his list a little bit. I hope he's refined it if he's here at the International Championships.
And I mean, quite fitting as well, of course, if you tie it back, maybe Chriso has a propensity for high energy decks. Of course, the Aquabox deck did play a very high energy count as well. He had that Max Elixir. Maybe just in this instance, Chriso just replacing Max Elixir with Metang, right?
Let's get down to it. I'm not really super versed with this, but it's all going to come down to time, literally and figuratively, as Chriso will be starting the turn off. We are just going to see a Great Ball. This is a card we really don't see a lot. This is sort of what happens at the beginning of the format. We don't have a lot of great searching cards for sort of those evolution Pokemon in the middle. We have Ultra Ball too, and look at this. Who needs things like Battle VIP Pass or Poppin' when you can just get all of your Beldum down on turn 1?
Yeah, look at that. So all the Beldums down already. There is a full 4-4 line of Beldum and Metang, of course. The Metang with that Metal Maker ability. Let's look at the top 4 cards to your deck and attach any metal energy you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. So you just want to load up that Dialga V of energy and then evolve it into the Dialga V Star and just start metal blasting your way.
Yeah, and I think Chriso is thinking about if he wants to just grab Radiant Greninja. You don't have a lot of ways to search this. The Buddy Buddy Poffin can get the Beldum as well as this Nest Ball, so maybe just make sure you get that Greninja into play. That concealed cards is one of the very limited ways you have to draw more cards in this deck.
Yeah, it's got to be a consideration because, yeah, I think a Buddy Buddy Puffin, it can get you your low HP basics, but anything more than 70 HP is a no-go. And yep, exactly like you pointed out, there goes down the Radiant Greninja. And Chris is going to take a look through to see what's prize. Going to notice, well, I was about to say you notice some energy prize, but I think when you play 16, maybe it's a bit hard to count when you know the exact amount and think, oh, how many do I have prize? Probably not even worth looking at specifically, but we'll look for his other important like one-ups and such.
It's almost a given. You're like, okay, how many of my metal energy are prized in this game? You just have such high odds of prizing them. There is variance in the Pokemon TCG. So far, very much on Chriso's side. It does have that concealed cards ability. It will be the next thing for Chriso to use. So draw 2 more cards. Do we see any more things like Buddy Buddy Poffin? And this hand is actually pretty awkward, I'm not going to lie. Just a lot of metal energy, maybe a boss's orders, and I think it's just debating, do I want to play down this Zamazenta? It does have that metal shield ability, so it could take a little bit less damage, and that retaliate attack can deal solid pressure. And action's over to Michael here. Yeah, doesn't have an energy right away, but does have an Iono, so can look through some more of the deck and still look for that energy card. Time is not on your side with this Arceus deck. You've really got to hit every single thing you need to keep pace, and you've also got to cross your fingers and say, please don't let my opponent have the nuts. Please don't let them have everything they need for Star Chronos on the second turn.
Although inadvertently, of course, I mean, you just said Chriso's hand was not that great. Michael might have bailed Chriso out a little bit here. That second hand that Chriso drew looking a bit more promising, but Michael does find that double turbo energy, which is exactly what he wanted, so we'll be able to fire off that Trinity Charge and get some energies onto this Giratina V.
Didn't get down something like another basic Pokemon, like another Arceus V.
Oh, that's true, though.
The Trinity Charge is still good. You can power up this Giratina V, so that just in case if your opponent uses Metal Maker and puts 4 energy onto their Dialga. But at that point, that game would just end if there's 4 energy, because Star Chronos does exactly 220 damage, and then you can just knock out the Giratina V with Metal Blast. And listen, Freya, it's got something we've got to keep in the back of our mind. It's very unlikely. You've got to hit a lot of things. This deck isn't necessarily very consistent. We've seen things like a lot of these decks play cards like the TM Evolution, but that's actually not in Chriso's deck. Is playing a lot of different supporter cards. Freya, run me through how he's really constructed this deck.
So there's a card in a very high count here that you don't see very often, and that's Jacques. Supporter lets you search for any 2 evolution Pokemon, but I guess in this deck, all you really need is Metangs and Dialga V-Stars, right? So, and Jacques can grab both of those, so it does make a lot of sense here. And looking at the hand, yeah, there's a lot to work with here. There's a Metang, there's a Great Ball, there's another Bloody Puffin.
This hand is so good. There's, I think, ways to evolve every single Pokemon into play, and can even find something like the second Dialga or the Mew to provide a little bit more support. And this is where we've seen sort of a shift. As the format shifts to playing more EX Pokemon, your V-Stars become a little bit safer. Things like Maximum Belt aren't going to have any value. That A-Spec of choice for Michael in this matchup against Chriso.
Yeah. Now, there's a very interesting debate here that I want to point out, and that is like the sequencing right here with the Great Ball versus the Buddy Puffin. Now, if you do the Great Ball first, in theory, there are more Pokemon in the deck, but say if you wanted to hit something that wasn't a Beldum, maybe it's better to do the Buddy Puffin first. There's less Pokemon in the deck, but then you increase your odds hitting another Pokemon. Now, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's because Chriso knew that there were no Pokemon he wanted on the bottom of his deck.
Exactly.
So just wants to look at the top 7, knows there's nothing that's really desirable there. It's not worth changing it up and paying off there. Just finding another Dialga, that's a great hit to get off that Great Ball.
Yeah, and then with the Nest Ball finds the Mew, which is the other hit off of there as well. And there's the Jacques as well. Oh my, wow.
We could be seeing the game end potentially this turn if Chriso has an energy in hand. If this Metal Maker, these 2 Metal Maker abilities can find 3 energy cards, then Star Kronos back-to-back with a Metal Blast can get rid of Michael's only 2 Pokemon in play, and we could be seeing the game end on the second / extra third turn.
We should make, for those who don't know, so Origin Form Dialga V-Star's attack is that Star Kronos. It is 220 damage, take an extra turn. So,
And there's still more. That Mew EX did come down into play as well, so we're just going to see the restart, and it's the Prime Catcher. That's not a Metal Energy card. Here we go. It's going to come down to these Metal Makers. So look at the top 4 cards. Any Metal Energy you find can be attached, and there's 2 there. That means Chriso just needs to find 1 Metal Energy off of this second Metal Maker ability. Here we go, Freya. It's going to come down to this. Can Chriso close it out? 4 cards, 1 Metal Energy, and finds the Metal Energy. We're going to see a turn 2 Star Kronos buy an extra turn. Metal Blast, the only Pokemon. We just saw the... Oh, what did we just see?
Dialga V-Star smashing the competition here, and Chriso takes a very early game 1 lead. Oh my goodness!
I never doubted Freya. I always believed in Dialga. Dialga is doing me proud. I'm a Sinnoh boy at heart, so I love to see some of these great Pokemon take it out. And wow! Turn 2, I mean, I've heard things about Dialga. Oh, it's inconsistent. It needs to do all of these things. Star Kronos is great, but it only does 220. Throw all of that out of the trash. We just saw a masterclass of what Dialga could do, especially against an Arceus deck.
And what we were just talking about, Jacques, how maybe this is not like the orthodox way to build this deck, but if all you need is your evolutions, right? Of course you play free Jacques. You get your Dialga, you get your Metang, you set up with your energy, and you just win in 2 attacks. Oh!
He threw that Metal Energy down, threw the energy from the hand, and said, I just got it like that, buddy. I'm built different. Chriso taking the first game, and what was that? That was 5 minutes, if that. Wow, Freya, what a crazy game that was.
I need a moment.
I'll let you take it back. If you are sitting at home, that is something that you are going to want to remember. We don't get to see a lot of Star Kronos, let alone on the second turn of the game, but Dialga V-Star, a card that saw a little bit of play. We saw when Metal Saucer was in the format, this card see a little bit of the spotlight, but it seems like it's got the call back. It's got the call back from Metang saying, hey, buddy, you remember me? We're going to go on one last ride together, and this is a great start to a journey for Dialga, especially if you're a fan of just taking extra turns.
When I was talking about those murmurs, this is what I mean. Like, this is what this deck can do if it sets up well, and my goodness, that is absolutely terrifying. So let's see what Michael can do here.
And Michael's hand was actually so bad, but top deck Nest Ball, keeping him in the game. What a great card to find. This can allow Arceus V to come down and to start getting his game plan set up. And yeah, Michael going first is actually a big deal here too, because Chriso's not going to be able to use that Star Kronos before Michael has hopefully evolved into an Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, which will make it that sort of double win. Not impossible, mind you, because you could Star Kronos a weak thing and then attach more Metal Energies and KO the Arceus V-Star. Just make it a little bit trickier, though.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game for Chriso. His deck did everything you want. That's exactly how you draw it up. If you're ever planning a deck or building your deck, you're like, this is what I want on my second turn. But I mean, we are playing best of 3. We could potentially see 2 more games. This deck sometimes is prone to a little bit of inconsistency if it doesn't have a strong start. That's the bare minimum you need there.
And it's still not a great hand from Michael. I mean, think he finds... Chriso did it too, apparently. There's a top deck there with the... Dialga with the for the start of the turn, now a great ball as well. So both these players off like having a really strong like first turn draw.
And I think Chriso has hit the opposite side of the scale. This hand is really not looking too strong. Did have to play this great ball, maybe looking for something like Radiant Greninja to draw more cards, and it's just going to be that Beldum. So we do at least see double Beldum come down, but this Arceus V-Star is threatening to be attacking force on the following turn, so there's still options here for Chriso.
But Michael's only option for draw next turn is Judge. Like the rest of the hand is really not doing that much. There's like a Jet Energy. So I guess you can attach that wish to the active. That is pretty good. But then, there's a Bidoof drawn for turn. That's actually pretty good as well. But then, you have to play this Judge to draw more cards. So
yeah, I mean, there is a world where you can just take a knockout with Power Edge. But if your opponent top decks away to Metal Blast or Star Chronos, then you're just gonna be like, why didn't I play that card the previous turn?
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this Judge treats both players. Judge, a card that we saw fall out of favor her a little bit, especially given that there are other disruption options available. But in, I guess, Arceus Giratina specifically, it's still like a solid option to disrupt early on. Just both players shuffle their hands to their deck, draw 4 cards. Let's see what Michael gets here.
Yeah, only 4 cards, though, so we'll have to find something like an Arceus V-Star. And it's not in the hand, so not only is Michael in the same spot he was, still having Babarrel, still having other pieces, but it's actually just going to stash the hand to the bottom. Value's finding another Pokemon that much. Now listen, on NA streams, we've seen some crazy draws. Are we going to see Arceus V-Star?
No.
We're not. All right. Can't play with my heart like this, Michael. You can't.
Oh, wait, it was a... Wait, there's Arceus V-Star in hand?
Oh, did he? Oh, I think he drew it off the prize cards probably. Yeah.
Okay.
We did see that Power Edge take the knockout, and the door is open yet again. I mean, listen, it's possible if we see an attachment, Metal Maker hit... I can't even think about it. You know what? Chris is going to just show up if he's got it or not. If he does, then fair game to him, And
free Metal Energy, that's what you need. Free off the Metal Maker. Or you can just hit 4 as well, that would also work.
Yeah, this is a great start to the turn. Does have that Buddy Poffin, a gift that Michael gave Chriso that previous turn. We'll get to check the deck for the first time. It's not done that yet. We'll see that there are a little bit of annoying prizes. Some of those Pokemon in play, the Dialga and the Dialga V-Star, unavailable, but for the most part, things are looking pretty solid. See some more of these Matangs come down, or rather these Beldums come down. Chriso isn't playing anything like Babarrel in this deck, and with this deck that's now become a new archetype again, now that people are figuring out how to optimize this powerful ability on Matang. People are back to the drawing board, and Chriso seems to have found a list that has worked so far.
Yeah, pretty much the only draw options you have are EUIC and Radiant Greninja, which granted are solid, those are decent draw cards, but you're not having the same, amount of draw power as something like Industrious and Size would give you. So very important to thin out the deck as much as possible, get these Beldums out, and make sure that all your Metal Makers resolve to hit as many energy as possible. So
yeah, and I'm seeing the vision here. Why draw cards when you can just draw energies to attach to your Pokemon? It's just that easy. As we are going to see the Jock. Okay, don't play with me like this. If we see 3, and you see Chriso staring him down, he says, you know what's about to happen, right? You know what I'm about to do to you here. Okay.
And Michael's just like, it's like the look on Michael's face, like, what am I meant to do?
This is where I let fate take the wheel. I say, Judge, can you shuffle the deck? I don't want anything to do with this at this point.
Oh, can't really blame that feeling either. So, Metal Maker, here we go. How many does Chriso hit? 1, 2, 3, 4? That was 1.
Just 1.
Okay. That's... But that's a lot less dramatic.
He's safe.
Yeah.
This is still a solid turn here for Chris. He's going to use that Metal Blast attack. With the 3 energies on, it is going to be 200 damage, so not bad at all. Actually, it's going to be 160, so the 40 base and then 40 for each Metal Energy. This does set it up this Arceus V-Star for a 2-hit knockout. There is now Star Chronos, and there we see the Arceus V-Star finally get evolved, and Michael can take a sigh of relief for now, but, I mean, listen, Star Chronos is definitely still on the table for the following turn.
Yeah, and of course, the other point to note as well is that, 280 HP is not a small number. Like, Arceus cannot KO that at all. So even if Chriso, or even if Michael does, do some damage here, Chriso is pretty much in the lead with damage, but
Using that Nest Stash for 1 and finds the boss's orders to target down the Matang. And I think Michael understands what he needs to do in this matchup. Shut off the Metal Maker ability and just put Chriso in a position where he's just not able to flood these Dialga V-Star with tons of metal energy and can even use Starbirth to grab what is most likely going to be another Pokemon. Could even get that Barrel. That is also an option now that there are no cards in the hand with the 2 from the Starbirth.
So I guess, you know, in a sense, the boss's orders was guaranteed from the start, but still finding it off of the nest stash, that is absolutely unbelievable. So they're going to grab the Barrel and the Giratina V and go ahead and do the Industrial Synthesizers for the full 5 cards. What a phenomenal turn from Michael.
Yeah, would still like to see one more Pokemon because, again, the situation could still exist where we see 2 of these V Pokemon get knocked out in a row. We haven't even seen an energy get attached yet, so we will just see double turbo onto this Barrel, and it looks like we're actually just going to see the Trinity Nova take the knockout. This could be a little bit risky here, I can't lie, for Michael deciding to not play the Ultra Ball, maybe valuing the other cards in hand a little bit more. We do know that Chriso is playing that Prime Catcher as the A-spec of choice.
Yeah, I think Michael is making this decision on the basis that Chriso only has 2 cards in hand, right? Soon to be 1. So I think Michael's thinking, you know what? The chance of a boss's orders is low. Even if there's a Star Chronos that can happen, I can just bring up something else that isn't, you know, a 2-prizer.
Okay, hold on, though. Does find an energy off of this Metal Maker, and now with 4 energy on this Dialga V-Star plus the attachment for turn, we could see Star Chronos be used to buy an extra turn here for Chriso, taking 2 prize cards. What does he find? It looks like it's a few Nest Ball. That's not bad at all. You can potentially draw some more cards and find Cypher Maniac. That's what he needs. He can knock out this Giratina V with the Prime Catcher in combination. What were those prize cards there for Chriso? Exactly what he needed to wipe Michael of all of his attackers.
My argument earlier in the debate feels so vindicated right now.
And you see Michael just reeling his head like, come on, man, you have that? You had what you needed? Not just the ability to power up this Dialga. That is crazy.
I heard something.
Wait, oh, it looks like we're maybe have a little bit of technical issues, so.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't scream. I heard it. I heard it scream out.
Okay, well, hopefully we get everything figured out. I don't want to be the one causing. It looks like.
I did not, but I heard they scream. I heard them.
Okay, yeah. Let's figure. We'll figure out exactly what's happening here. But it looks like we're just going to see both these Pokemon put down, and wow, Freya, what an incredible cards to find. And Prime Catcher, the MVP, will allow Chriso to pivot into this Mew and bring up that Giratina V. And this Dialga V-Star can Metal Blast and knock it out and remove everything off of Michael's board except for the 2 support Pokemon that remain.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. A devastating turn there from Chriso, just able to take two prize knockouts on the bounce and pretty much a mirror game 1 in the sense that, you know, you have it's not like an instant win, but it kind of is in the sense that you take all Michael's attackers off the board.
And there it is, the Prime Catcher bringing up this Giratina V. And that's it. Michael just says, you've got everything. I cannot come back from this. A 15-ish minute 2-game set in dominating fashion. Chriso taking the win and moving to 4-0.
The rumors are true? Like, is Dialga the deck to watch out for this? Is it going to take the whole thing?
I'm a proud member of the Dialga V-Star fan club after that match. You know what? Chriso could be the leader because I would